They are confessing 60. 3 hours later, Monday, July 13, 1:20 a.m. Loscani took the call in the nude, the way he always sleeps. In the heat of summer, glancing at his wife, he put the collar on hold and pulled on a light rope. A moment later, he picked up the phone in his study, clicking on the desk light. As he did, a middle-aged man and his wife had been found shot to death in a storage container behind the ambulance company they owned in Pescara. They had been dead almost 36 hours when anxious family members had discovered them. Local investigators on the scene at first believed it was a murder-suicide, but after questioning friends and family, decided in all probability it was not, and on the off chance it might have a connection to the nationwide manhunt alerted Gruppo Cardinale headquarters in Rome, hence the call to him. Pescara 4:30 a.m. ได้หลายแล้วอัดดีๆได้ไหมประตูนะมาขอเงินโอ๊ยนาสาวมันบอกนาสาวมันสั่งไม่ขอเงิน Loscani walked the murder scene, the storage shed behind. Servizio Ambulanza Pegasa Pescara Ettore Caputo and his wife had 6 children and had been married 32 years. They fought Pescara police all the time and about anything. Their battles were loud and violent and passionate, but never had anyone seen one touch the other in anger, and never had Ettore Caputo owned a gun. Signora Caputo had been shot first, point blank, and then her husband had apparently turned the weapon on himself because his fingerprints were on it. The weapon was a two-shot .44 Magnum Derringer, powerful but tiny, the kind of weapon few people even knew about unless they were firearm aficionados. Loscani shook his head while a Derringer two shots didn't give you much room for miss or error. The only positive thing about it was its size, because it was crazy to conceal. Stepping back, Loscani nodded to a member of the tech crew, and she moved in with an inviting back. to take the gun away. Then he turned and walked out of the shade and across a parking area to the ambulance company's front office. In the street beyond, he could see people gathered, gathered in the gray, eerie morning light, watching from behind police barricades. Loscani thought back to last evening and what he and his detectives had learned from their singular tours of the hospitals outside Rome, and there was nothing more definitive than the chance they could be right, that there could have been a 25th passenger on the bus who was never recorded, someone who could have walked away in the confusion. If he was able to or taken off by car, Oluscani glanced at a promotional calendar tracked on the office wall as he stepped into company's office by private ambulance. Castelletti and Scala were waiting. As he came in, they were smoking and immediately put their cigarettes out when they saw Loscani's fingerprints again. Loscani said, deliberately waving away the smoke that still hung in the air. The Spaniards' prints on the assassination rifle, Harry Edison's prints on the pistol that killed Pio. Now, the clear prints, prints of a man who outwardly never owned a gun, yet committed a murder-suicide, each time making it seem obvious who the shooter was. Well, we know that wasn't the case with the Cardinal Vicar. So what about the others? What if we have a third person doing the killing, then making sure the prints they wanted on the weapon got there? The same third person each time, the same he or she, maybe even they killed the Cardinal Vicar, killed Pio, and the job here at the ambulance office. The priest Castelletti said on our third person, someone else entirely. Absently, Loscani took out a piece of gun, unwrapped it, and put it in his mouth. What, what if the priest was a bad chef and was brought by ambulance from one of the hospitals outside Rome to Pescara, and this third person found out and came here looking for him, Scala said quietly. Loscani stared at Scala, then folded the chewing gun wrapper carefully and put it in his pocket. Why not? You follow that thinking, and maybe Harry Edison didn't kill Pio. Loscani walked off slowly, chewing his gun. He looked at the floor, then the ceiling through the window. He could see The red ball of the sun beginning to come up over the Adriatic. Then he turned back. Maybe he didn't. Spoleto. Ispet, Ispettore Capo. The detectives looks up as an investigator from the Pescara police came in, his face already streaked with sweat, with sweat from the the eerie heart. We may have something else. The chief medical officer had just examined the body of a woman who died in an apartment house fire last night. Loscani knew before he was told. The fire didn't kill her. No, sir, she was murdered.